It's out. Hooray. Hello. It's been a minute. I've got the boat back in the on the dollies. I'm hoping we can get this whole thing done sometime mid to late summer. Currently it's late May. Getting a month later start than I wanted on it, but we're getting there. So boat is in. Definitely will need, like, I didn't do any of this fiberglass stuff. We'll deal with that after I get the V10 in and running. Like, I just want a proof of concept before I go and refiberglass the whole boat. Because I would have different plans for how the interior and the fuel tanks are set up. Just because it's, whoever did the fiberglassing on this boat is, it's not good, I'll tell you. And there's a few spots that have me a bit concerned, but for the amount I use it, should be fine for one more season. Hopefully this isn't, like, you know, last words, you know, that sort of thing. The seat mounting situation is kind of annoying too. But anyways, I got the that right there is the T45 bell housing. I don't know how I'm gonna explain all this. I might have to redo it after I have the V10 mocked up. That is the old 460. I have a bunch of different parts. Someone was supposed to come yesterday, they didn't show up. I just, like, $400 take cracked block, 3 sets of cylinder heads, fancy intake, fancy rockers, a bunch of other shit. Like, I just want to get all the 460 stuff gone so I don't have to deal with it. It's all heavy and ugh. So just, I need to get rid of that so we can put that on that stand. But the V10 I want to mock up in the boat and just see, like, where we're sitting distance wise, because whatever idiot put this thing in, the 460 was pretty close to that already. Like, it wasn't touching it, but we probably had like 6 inches to spare. But the drive shaft adds a lot of extra length there. So anyways, with the T45, the plan is to run a clutch in the boat. Pardon all the dead flies in there. It's been sitting here since like December-ish. That's when we pulled the V10 out too. So I have the input shaft here. So what I'm thinking is we run a clutch, and then off of this, I'm gonna have to get someone to custom machine it, and then put a flange on this. But I don't want to use a U-joint because that's kind of redundant. I posted in a jet boat Facebook group about using a flex coupling and had some fun answers there. So unfortunately, I really like proving people wrong and doing shit in a unique, different way. So I guess I'm gonna have to do that. But I'm gonna call a local Benz dealer because I don't know, I like talking to guys over at Benz. So I'm gonna ask him, because I have no idea if all the flex couplings between, like, all the models are all the same, or if the AMG cars have stronger upgraded ones. Because what I think is the cheapest and best way to approach this is literally just go to a junkyard and sawzall off the end of the drive shaft and then unbolt the input flange on a diff. That seems to be the only way of getting, without having custom machine flanges and all that, because we have to go from this. I'll probably have like a bolt plate around here that goes off to the transom. I don't know what the front of the engine's looking like for mount wise, but anyways, I can use these bolts or the ones on the bell housing to, you know, triangulate off there. Again, I want a clutch in this just because, well, to run in dry land, you don't spin the pump up. For short periods of time, you can run in the water with the clutch in, but there won't be any water flow, so that will eventually, the engine will run hot. But you can probably run a decent amount of time at idle, like 10 minutes probably or more. Don't quote me on that, I have no idea. Anyway, so that's the T45 bell housing off of a Mustang, of the first modular Mustangs, the non-GTs, and then some of the Cobra GT, the first, I don't know, I'm not a Mustang guy or a Ford guy. Anyways, that's the bell housing we're gonna put on the V10, and then somehow make that work. I think on this end we're gonna have to put because that's a tapered roller bearing, which you know requires constant pressure and grease to not explode. So I think what we're gonna have to do is have this bearing pressed off and then press in like a cartridge roller bearing, not a roller bearing, opposite of roller, ball bearing, like a, you know, a typical like wheel bearing, sort of any bearing that isn't a tapered roller bearing in there. And then, anyways, this is just brainstorming. We're getting ahead of ourselves. We don't even know if the engine fits. So that's gotta go. Then on the V10, it's kind of in the back corner here, but gotta figure out how this is gonna fit lengthwise. We'll get rid of the rad fan. I need to steal the tool from work to get that off. Welder's out of commission. I just ordered a new liner for it because that was messing up when I was doing the Corolla welding. But clutch fan tool, I mean I could weld something on there and just smack it. We're probably just going to be running crank and alternator for belt routing because I don't need AC, don't need power steering. So I mean, what more? Oh, this truck doesn't even have power steering, or not power steering, AC. Is it AC delete? Anyways, interesting. Yeah, no AC. Cool. Actually not cool. But yeah, no, so today I think we'll try to get the V10 in the boat. It still has the automatic flex plate on it. So I'm really looking hard trying to find an 8-bolt clutch and flywheel for this, like a used one. That's the only way I foresee that working. Yeah, that's all I got. So today I think we'll try and put this in the boat, see how much clearance we got. I do not want to run the cast iron manifolds for, well, like this one there's 2 bolts on the top and probably not many on the bottom, so those shouldn't be the worst to extract. I say that now, but you have the engine on a stand, it's like much easier to work on than in the truck, obviously. Coolant outlet / oil filter housing, I have one of those for a 5.4 that fits, so we can relocate the oil filter to wherever we want, and then have an AN fitting for the cooling system, which I really like. Everything on this boat I want to be AN or some sort of fitting. I can't stand working with hose clamps anymore. They just piss me off, so everything on this boat will be AN fitting, maybe other than the through hull transom fittings that eject water, because that stuff just working in little clamps and shit. Everything's got to be stainless too. That's the only thing I want to do with this boat, but I got to make it work first. So yeah, so clutch fan, not clutch fan, well, clutch, anyways, fan's got to come off today, and we'll try and get it in the boat. Got the shop somewhat organized and clean. I still got a lot of bike parts in here, so, but the boat is on, I made these years ago, kind of like a jet ski dolly, but just 2x4s covered in carpet. But yeah, and then we got the original mounting provisions, which someone geniusly fiberglassed into the stringer, which love that. But yeah, the challenging part is going to be going from that pump to the input shaft on the bell housing, or transmission technically. I have the original U-joint, which is people, I don't know, the jet boat people are weird, they like old school stuff, but in what circumstance would you ever need that much movement? Like, is your boat made out of like Play-Doh? How does it move that much? Like, that's what I was like, a flex joint seems like the best, like space wise, they're probably half as much stuff. Like, you can't, I guess the only thing is you can't go straight from you still need like a 6, well, this is a 6 bolt, yeah, a 6 bolt. I don't know what big block Chevys and olds are, but you still need an adapter to go from that to the 3 bolt flange. But still, that would be way more space efficient than, actually now that I'm thinking about it, trying to think about how we'd slide the bolts out of a 3-bolt flange. Anyways, but like you have so little deflection that I don't know if a big old farm truck driving by, you have so little deflection and difference in angles. I know if your pump isn't aligned with your engine, then you can, I guess you wear out the bearings in the pump or your engine. So there's that, but like, I don't know, seems like a no-brainer that you just run a flex pump. And then, so no one was saying they've done it on a regular, like a Berkeley jet boat, but on like Hamilton jets and the other non-American ones, like the commercial diesel powered jet drives and the Aussie guys and New Zealand guys, they said there's one guy that said they supply and have flex couplings. So I just want a standard like Mercedes, Beamer, Audi flex coupling, Volkswagen, Audi, whatever coupling. And like, think about it, if your first gear, so only usually 3rd or 4th gear is direct drive. I don't know about the new modern like 8 or 9 speed cars or DSG cars, what gear is a direct drive ratio, but this is a direct drive clearly. But if you're in 1st or 2nd gear on a DSG car and you launch that, the gear ratio on that plus the gear ratio on the diff on that flex coupling, I guess it's not the gear ratio of the diff, but twisting on that flex coupling and launching it on very grippy tires on an all-wheel drive car versus a jet drive pump on a 1-to-1 ratio, I don't see why it wouldn't work. Like this engine is also only going to make, I don't know, 3 something when I put headers on it. Like, I'm not doing an ECU tune or anything, so 400 if I'm optimistic. It's not going to make 400 though. Might sound like it makes 500, but anyways, so flex coupling is in the works for that, but I need to make sure everything kind of fits as it should, and then we will go from there. I got to relocate all of this shit and then figure out a way to get electronic fuel pumps in the tanks, so that will be fun. The fuel level sensors never worked on these anyways, so we'll be fixing that. But engine, yes. Alright, I'm gonna set you guys up and we're gonna start doing some teardown. Now that we got the clutch fan on, the only thing this belt might be useful for is mocking up the new belt. Go from the crank to the alternator, because that's pretty much all I need accessory wise. Maybe the water pump, but we'll figure that out. But as you can see, if your serpentine belt looks like that, it's time to replace it. So yeah, well, the only thing I'll use that for is getting a distance length for the new belt setup. Okay, just gonna accessorize. So for like a big boat, you might need power steering. We have hydraulically driven trim tabs, etc. But my boat does not have that. Oh. Oh. So I think this. Yeah, shit. So I think this truck might have had AC before and I deleted it. Because I'm not gonna bring the camera over, but like there's non-standard bolts holding this AC delete fully on, so but as you can see, these are not the standard Ford bolts. They're metric bolts, which is good, but that is not the standard bolt set you'd have to bolt this up. So I suspect the compressor, well, it'd have to be the compressor clutch seized up and then the compressor seized, or the compressor clutch slash front bearing went out on it. Because if you have a seized compressor and the pulley's fine, you're fine, you just won't have AC. But something more severe happened, and this pulley isn't in the best shape. There's a bit of play, but it spins fine. So what we have here is a big friggin' part. So this is coolant passage. Oh, I'm dripping shit. Coolant passage, right? Coolant passage, oil passages. Oil passages go to the oil filter, and these 3 bolts, no, these 4 bolts, not that one. I just took that one up. Those are the engine mount bolts. So the driver's side engine mount is offset by this housing here, and this just puts the oil filter in a more accessible place. This also has a oil cooler, an auxiliary one, what we're going to be replacing this with. So you see that pattern there. I have a cheap Chinese knockoff of the MMR kit. So see this guy here? So this plate here with these very dainty looking O-rings, that is the same pattern, at least it should be. So this is actually for 5.4, but it will work. I'm just gonna throw this on for mock-up purposes. I should have got some plugs. And as you can see here, there's a provision for the oil pressure switch as well. So I should have cracked that free while I head off. Damn it. Alrighty, so I think I'm ready to throw the engine in the boat. I made a slight blunder, as in taking the intermediate plate off, which kind of centers the starter, but it doesn't matter, we'll get to that. Transmission bell housing is on. My dad was wondering why I'm going to go through all the trouble of making exhaust manifolds, and I think I just figured out the answer to that question, because the way that these turn down is probably going to go right into the stringer, which, you know, isn't ideal. I mean, I could flip them and then do something stupid with them. Probably just to run it, I might do that. Front is clear of unnecessary accessories, and we have the delete for the water pump. Holy shit, this block is rusty. Just surface rust though. Anyways, and then the accessories off the front. Surely that's enough, right? This is a big unit, holy shit. that much weight hanging that high, but precarious. Okay, so the camera died just as I was putting the engine in the boat, and I couldn't really stop to grab a battery. I couldn't find my battery charger, so I had to charge up the whole camera unit. Anyways, the engine fits. I need to get the angle adjuster thing, you know, these guys on here, but I'm waiting to sell this engine and get it out of here so I can put that on that engine. But I just need to know whether it fit or not. Our clearance down here, you know, not ideal. We will have to move it forward a decent amount. The mounts, actually can't see on here, almost line up. So we got 1, 2. Anyways, we gotta figure that out. Exhaust wise, as I thought, the log manifolds will go right into the stringers basically, but I mean it fits. Again, I don't want to do over transom headers, I want to do through the transom, but now that I'm looking at it, I don't know, like, it's gonna be tight. But yeah, for today and probably this, oh god, oh I shouldn't get in the boat actually. I just put a 4x4 across the, oh it's not even attached, just in case the excuse me, the crank gave up. But I need to hop in here for one moment and just look around. It's pretty much centered. This is gonna be wild. Not a huge amount of room where the starter is. The oil pan is touching the boat, bottom of the boat basically. So I might have to shorten the oil pan, which I'm not a fan of, but if that's the only way to do it, that's the only way to do it. So, yeah. But now I actually look on this side. We have, yeah, so we got these mounts. Yeah, they don't really line up with the engine mounts that are in there, and we'll have to come a little bit more forward even, so. Yeah, I guess I have to make custom mounts. Where it's sitting at the moment, we're not quite at the front, but the crank pulley sits so high up, I probably just cut some of this off. Like, this is very poorly installed fiberglass anyways, so yeah. But I mean, the engine fits, we got that far. I'm just trying to get some thumbnail shots. Take that out temporarily. Looks good. So I never greased that bearing, so it kind of got cooked. It didn't seize, but it makes a lot of noise, and you can see the bearings are coming apart. And there's a few companies that sell them that case come straight across, and that's exactly what I need, but they're not that complicated of a part for me to make, so I'm gonna attempt to make these myself. This might kick my ass, but every once in a while you do need a challenge. I could actually just get this off Amazon Canada.